Imagine this. A woman calmly stirs a pot of boiling liquid, the sharp smell of chemicals filling the air. But this is not an ordinary pot. And what's cooking inside is not dinner. It's something far more horrifying. Soap. Soap made from human remains. Welcome to the dark and twisted world of Leonarda Cianciulli, or better known as the soap maker of Correggio. Hello everyone and welcome back to Minds and Dark, where I, Cataleya, am bringing to life horrifying, most chilling, fascinating stories of crime and mystery for you and with you. I invite you today to dive into a story so disturbing that it's actually really hard that it actually happened. It's very hard to believe that it actually happened. So let's talk about the tragic and horrifying tale of Leonarda Cianciulli. Her life was not a good one from the very beginning. She was born on 14th of November, either 1892, either 1893. There are different sources that some says 92, some says 93, so my hair is falling down. She was born, like I was saying, in a small town in southern Italy, Montella, and her entry into the world was not a joyful one, yeah. And her mother, Emilia Di Nolfi, and the father, Mariano, did not have the most happy household, yeah. As a child, she was a weak child, she was sick, she was suffering from epilepsy, and unfortunately for her, she was treated as a burden by her family. And she got no love, no affection. Actually, Emilia was treating her other children much better than Leonarda, and she was painfully showing her, that she was not wanted, and she was constantly humiliated, constantly ignored, constantly ridiculized. Yeah, so all the bad things that can happen to a child. Later in life, actually, Leonarda would reveal that her mother hated her because she never wanted her to be born. And she actually said that she felt so miserable that she wanted to die. It seems that there are some places where I found this thing written that Leonarda was actually came to life after her mother was raped. So it seems that this is a possible reason for the behavior of her mother towards her, which can only be even more sad. It's also said that her father, being the only one that treated her a little bit better than the mother, yeah, showed her a little bit of affection. It is said that he died of a very sudden death, and the neighbors attribute that death of the father to the fact that he was poisoned by the wife, by the mother, with arsenic. There was, though nothing was proven, yeah, so nobody actually knows if this was true or not. So this is something that it's just a suspicion, yeah, to put it like this. Anyhow, it seems that during her childhood she tried actually suicide. She attempted suicide 2 times by hanging herself, and one time she was found very fast. The second time the rope broke, so both times she survived. And her mother had only one thing to say for this literally cry of help coming out from her daughter. Leonarda, I beg you, either you do it right, you kill yourself properly, or you stop trying. So you can imagine what a sick environment for a child to grow up and to develop in. I mean, very hard to understand or to comprehend, yeah, the reality of this. I cannot even go so far with my mind. Anyhow, in 1917, yeah, because she was so desperate to just leave the house, she got married with a man named Rafael Pansardi, who was a postal worker. In that moment, her mother was furious. It was extremely, extremely, extremely furious because she already had made plans to marry Leonarda with a 60-year-old very wealthy man. And because Leonarda refused to do that and got married to the man that she wanted, um, her mother put a curse on her, yeah, and told her, you will never know happiness, and everything you will love will be taken away from you. Now, when you think in those years, people did believe the cursing part a lot more than in our days. I mean, not that in our days there are still plenty of people that believe it, but in those days this was even more something that the people actually taken extremely serious, and so did Leonardo. Yeah, unfortunately for her and for her brain and for her mind, so did she. And she and the husband, Raphael, just struggled from the very, very beginning, from the start. They were moving frequently, they were just trying to escape all the bad luck that it seems that it was following there everywhere. Unfortunately, the tragedy just was going after them wherever they were living. In 1930s, they were living in Lacedonia when a very bad earthquake, a devastating earthquake, uh, ruined their house, destroyed completely their house. So they had to move again, once again, and this time they moved to Correggio, a small town in northern Italy. And of course, again, once again, they were hoping for a fresh start, which could have been because, and even a good one, yeah, because Leonardo opened a small shop. She integrated really well in the society, and she was perceived by everybody as a generous woman, friendly one. She was always willing to help the community, the neighbors, just everybody. So her life could have actually turned for the better this time. But unfortunately, um, one more thing that she was doing, she was well known for tarot cards reading, and also for reading the fortune for the people, So she was basically offering spiritual guidance, yeah, for those seeking help or such guidance in those times. Now, inside of her, despite of all this showing off, yeah, inside of her, she was a woman eaten by fear, and she also had an obsession. Yeah. Why? Because her biggest, greatest fear and obsession was not to lose her children. How she got to feel this way? Because during her marriage, she got pregnant 17 times. Yeah, 17 times. Unfortunately, first she suffered 3 miscarriages. 10 of the children died while infants or early childhood, and she only had four surviving children. I don't can even imagine the loss. I mean, it's unbelievable what a woman can take, and especially when I think about the women in those years, and then when it was no proper medical care, no proper help for both the woman or the child, yeah, no medical while she was pregnant. So it's horrifying to think about what she'd been through. I myself had a very long infertility fight for many years, and I know how it feels, the loss firsthand. So I cannot comprehend to actually lose 13, basically three miscarriages plus 10 that she gave birth and died after. So it probably at one point something like this can shift your mind into the darkness and can actually shape in the wrong way the psychic of a person. I mean, a type of scenario like this can be devastating. So of course, she had 4 surviving children, the biggest one, the oldest one being Giuseppe. That was her pride and joy, yeah, her son. And she would have done anything to protect her surviving children. Of course, the fact that she was believing in all the curses and all this spiritual guidance and everything did not help that much, because she had one time a gypsy that was actually reading into her hand, and for to see her life, her path in life, her fate, her whatever. And it seems that the fortune teller told her that in one hand she was seeing prison, and into the other psychic asylum. All this together with everything that had happened to her by this moment just made all the paranoia, all the fear, all the obsession, everything just grew bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger into her head, until I think that she became way consumed by all this. So she was so haunted by these predictions, all and everything. So she decided that um, she has to try to help her fate. And in 1939, she became one more time devastated, because her pride and joy, her oldest son, Giuseppe, told her that he had joined the Italian army. Now, with the Second World showing up, yeah, being on the horizon, and she was thinking, okay, he's gonna die. So she became literally crazy over all this, and she became, unfortunately for her and for everybody else around her, convinced that she has to make human sacrifices in order to save her son from death, and to reverse all the prophecy. Yeah, so this is how it starts actually, her descent into this dark world. Her first victim was Faustina Seti, and she was just a lonely woman in her 60s, and all she wanted, all she was looking for was companionship. She was visiting often Leonarda, seeking guidance, just having her reading tarot cards, so they became close friends. And it came the moment when Leonarda told her that she has the perfect, rich, wealthy husband just waiting for Faustina to show up, only that he was living in a city very far away called Pola. And she instructed Faustina to write letters. So from here you can see the fact that she knew very well what she was planning to do. Yeah, she instructed Faustina to write letters to all her relative friends and family, saying that she got married into another city, that she started a new life, that she's very well and everything is perfect into her life. So Faustina did as instructed, unfortunately, and then right before the supposed departure for the new wealthy rich husband waiting for her to show up, of course she had to visit one more time her good friends that made it all happen. And here Leonardo just offered her a glass of wine who was filled with sedatives. In the moment when Faustina lost her conscience, Leonardo killed her with an axe. And yeah, uh, I mean, it's so surreal when you think about it. Yeah, she dragged her body, she killed her with an axe, and like this on 17th of December 1939, Faustina died. She was her first victim. Then after she was dead, Leonarda just dismembered the body in 9 parts. She collected all the blood in a bassinet, and she started to cook, to work. She was using caustic soda, yeah, which it's very corrosive substance. So like this, all the remains, all the 90 remaining parts of the body got to be boiled together with caustic soda until they become just a dark, thick past. And out of this, Leonarda made soap. Gruesome much, I mean, soap. Yeah. And maybe you are wondering what she did with the blood. She dried the blood. God. She dried the blood. She ground it into a powder. And then she made tea cakes for the friends and neighbors visiting her from the blood. And nobody said nothing. I mean, they eat it. Of course, nobody knew what they are eating, but yeah. Okay, moving on. She gets her second victim. The name was Francesca Suavi, and she was a former school teacher in her mid-50s. Now, she had lost her job, she did not have such a good life, and she was absolutely desperate to find work so she can support herself. Like Faustina before her, she trusted a lot Leonarda, they were friends. She came for help, yeah, to her because she knew that she was well connected and believes that she had a lot of influence. And when Leonarda realized that she had a perfect second victim, she just told Francesca that she has for her already waiting for her a perfect job, very good position, into an elite girls' school in Piacenza, another town from Italy, somewhere pretty close to Correggio, where she was living anyway. She made everything in her power, Leonarda, I mean, made everything in her power to convince Francesca that this is the once in a life opportunity, that this is the moment she's been waiting for and all this. Again, she insisted everything has to be kept in a big secret. She made her as well to write letters and inform family and friends that she's gonna be fine, that she just got a job and she is living for that job, but she's doing well and fine and perfectly alive and healthy and everything is good. I mean, Leonarda did all this in order to make sure that the disappearance of the woman she was killing will not raise no suspicion. So this shows once again how calculated she was in when thinking about killing somebody. And yeah, unfortunately, September 5, 1940 is the last day of Francesca alive, because this is the day when she visited Leonarda in order to say goodbye. And of course, she could not say no to a glass of wine from her friend, wishing her all the best and all the luck in her new adventure in life. And this glass of wine was full of sedatives as well. So she became unconscious, and like Faustina before her, she got killed by the same axe, she followed the same fate. She just did everything once again in the same manner and with the same cold blood. Dismembered, boiling her, making the soap, making the tea cakes, everything literally the same. Now, yeah, um, do it once, do it twice. I mean, for her, it was just something normal, like she was going to the market. Yeah, just nothing out of the ordinary. In the same time, I mean, I tried to read a lot about this and I could not quite understand something. I don't understand where was her family, the other. I mean, nobody was there when she was doing all this. Really, I mean, nobody could see. How cutting a body, all that blood, all that, it's a little bit strange for me, to say the least. I mean, I found it a little bit very hard to understand how could she mask all her traces that nobody saw nothing. Yeah, that was a little bit strange. Anyhow, now we are moving on to her third and last victim, who was Virginia Cacioppo, and she was a former opera singer, again in her late 50s. She was very famous in her time. Her voice used to be amazing, but now she just had fallen on hard times. She was literally struggling to find her place. She could not find nothing to work, and life became very, very, very hard for her. So, unfortunately for her, she turned to no other woman for help but Leonarda. And of course, Leonarda, being such a good friend, she promised Virginia a really, really well-paid good job as a secretary for a very wealthy theater director in Florence. And this, she tried to convince her and explaining that this job could actually reignite her career, could once again put her on the big stage, that she can change her luck again. Of course, um, The same path followed. She asked Virginia to write the letters towards the family and the friends, explaining her sudden departure and that now she's going to have such a beautiful, amazing life. Virginia, who unfortunately for her was a very hopeful and trusting into Leonarda person, she agreed, and on 30 of September 1940, she made her last visit to Leonarda's house, and following the proceedings that by now she knew so well, she invited her to drink a glass of wine to celebrate, her new job. Of course, Virginia could not say no, and she felt unconscious after drinking, and she got killed by the same axe like the two before her. Now comes a little bit of a gruesome part, because Leonarda will later say that this time, after killing Virginia, she felt something different. Believe it or not, Leonarda got to write her memoirs, and is it here where she described the remains of Virginia as fat and white, and she got to claim that the remains of Virginia produced the best soap and the sweetest, best ever tea cakes she had ever made. When I read this part, I mean, this is truly unbelievable. Truly unbelievable. It was not enough what she had done. She had to say this. This shows that, in my opinion, she went over the things that she had put into her brain, with the fact that she had to bring human sacrifices to the gods, so she changed the luck of her remaining children, because this shows she was actually crazy and enjoying all this, because only a sick, sadistic, psychic, crazy person could ever write this type of thing in her memoirs, in my opinion. Anyhow, she got to say even more that she added perfume to the soap, making it a very creamy soap, and she made sure that all her neighbors and the friends got a piece of soap. Okay. And yeah, thankfully this time Virginia's disappearance did not go unnoticed, because her family started to dig up a little bit more to find out where she is, what is happening to her. And her sister-in-law, Albertina Fanti, started to be very suspicious when when she saw that Virginia just vanished without a trace, and even more, she found out that Leonarda was selling Virginia's clothes. Yeah, putting this together with the fact that she knew that Virginia had been visiting the house of Leonarda, of course, she went to the police and said all that she was thinking, all that she knew, and like this is how the police started an investigation, and they, of course, visited the house of Leonarda. Here they got to discover immediately all the incriminating evidence, linking her to the crime, and this unfortunately was just the way of confirming Albertina's worst fears, that Virginia was actually dead. Now, among everything else, they could find all the belongings from all the three victims she had. Also, they found all the tools that she carried on for her gruesome crimes. The axe that she used that was all stained with traces of blood. They found the knives used for dismembering. They found the big, huge pot in which she was using to make the soap. So basically, they found all her arsenal, and the most chilling stuff out of all, and very very disturbing actually for the investigators, was the fact that immediately she acknowledged, she confessed without hesitation, yeah, and in a very calm state. Imagine the shock that those police officers had in that moment. I mean, she just started to tell them every detail of the crimes that she did with, so calm, detached, like there was no guilt, no remorse. And actually, to be very honest with you, I do feel that she felt no guilt and no remorse and no nothing. She was a psychopath and she had absolutely no empathy for the human life. I mean, I don't know when she was born like this, when she got shaped by her childhood combined with all the problems and the tragedies happening into her life after, if all this together just shaped her and made her cross the line and transformed her into a psychopath, or she was genetically like this. I really don't know. But after reading and all the readings I've done over her case and others, I do tend to believe that the childhood part was the start, and after during her life, all the tragedies happening to her actually transformed, made her cross the very thin line between sanity and insanity. And I can tell you firsthand that I had a moment after I had lost my twins some almost 4 years ago. This is one reason why my name here on this channel is Cataleya. It's in the honor of my little girl. And I had my moments for some months when I felt I am gonna go crazy, but literally, not how it happens when you say, "Yeah, I'm gonna go crazy." No, I was a sane, I like to believe, person in my brain who realized that if I am not gonna ask for help faster, I will cross a bridge and I will just become a vegetable for the rest of my life, because everything was so much and the pain of the loss was so unbearable that I realized I need help, which I've done, and I've asked for help first to my husband and after to psychiatric doctors that knew exactly how to handle these types of cases and losses. And thankfully I could regain myself and keep fighting. And after two more losses, I finally had my amazing, wonderful son. So from one point of view, I can understand the pain and how easy it can be to just cross a bridge. I don't will say that I have sympathy for her case. Absolutely not. Um, one thing is one thing and the other is the other. I was just explaining that I do believe that she was not born like this, but her mind got shaped during the life, during her life. I'm very curious, what is it that you think about this question. Anyhow, now leaving this aside and moving on to her trial, that took place in 1946. Of course, it just drew a lot of attention, a lot of attention. I mean, imagine Italy after the war in 46, how horrified, how terrified was everybody of this case, you know. And now comes another thing, that why it's a little bit related to what I said earlier, that I do believe that she was not born like this, but she somehow got like this during her life. She was actually proud of what she had done, because the prosecutor tried to say in front of the judge that he don't quite believe that a woman with her constitution was able to do all this by herself. Exactly like I was saying earlier, that I found it really hard to understand, not to believe, because I know that sometimes craziness or psychopathy can give special powers to somebody when he's set on doing an infamous act like this one. But here comes the part where Leonardo actually got pissed. She got angry when she heard this, and she stand up screaming and yelling to the judge, "Give me a body and I'll show you." Imagine this in the middle of the trial. I mean, just imagine this. Yeah? Of course, she got denied, thankfully, by the judge. She got denied. But imagine how was this outburst put in all the newspapers and all the mass media and everything. And I mean, it's unbelievable that she could say something like this. Anyhow, after weeks of being after weeks of this trial, she got convicted, and she was sentenced with 30 years in jail, in prison, and 3 years in criminal asylum. Like this, somehow it got fulfilled, for her, the chilling prophecy that the gypsy fortune teller told her years ago, that she had on one hand the prison and on the other the asylum. So it seems that she got to enjoy both of them. Anyway, during her years spent in jail, she wrote her memoirs, and the name of the book is Confessions of an Embittered Soul. She died in 1970, at the age of 76 years old, by a cerebral hemorrhage. So basically, this is how it ended. One of the stories of woman killer, a story that, it's exactly like I was saying in the start, is very difficult to actually comprehend that this actually happened, it took place. All the tools that she used for her crimes are today in our time, including, the pot that she was using to make the soap, are displayed in the Criminological Museum in Rome. And a lot of people, thousands of visitors of the museum, still show a lot of interest in her name, her tools, and this case. So yeah, this was the story of Leonarda Cianciulli. I'm really curious to find out your opinion about it, and I do hope that you had the patience to still be with me by this moment. All I can do right now is to say thank you for your time, for your patience, and I know that my English is not necessarily the best, but I do hope that you can understand what I'm saying. I am actually really doing the best that I can and trying to improve myself with every day passing by. I can only promise you better and better content and chilling stories from with each episode. I wish you all to be healthy, to be safe. In case you think this is something you would like to see other times, I suggest that you can click on the subscribe button, of course, on the bell notification. So like this, you get to be notified every time I will be posting something new. Thank you again for your time, and until next time, I wish you all the best. Ciao, ciao.